In today's video, we will learn about the oculomotor nerve, including its origin, pathway, branches, functions, and clinical implications. The oculomotor nerve is the third cranial nerve, and it plays a crucial role in controlling most of the eye movements, eyelid elevation, and pupillary constriction. It is a motor nerve with both somatic motor and visceral motor or parasympathetic components. The oculomotor nerve originates from two nuclei in the midbrain at the level of the superior colliculus. A somatic motor nucleus or oculomotor nucleus, it is located in the midbrain or tegmentum, ventral to the cerebral aqueduct at the level of the superior colliculus. It provides motor innervation to most extraocular muscles including superior rectus, inferior rectus, medial rectus, inferior oblique, and the levator palpebrae superioris, which elevates the upper eyelid. The other visceral motor nucleus is called Edinger-Westphal nucleus. This is also located in the midbrain near the oculomotor nucleus. It provides parasympathetic fibers that control pupil constriction, controlled by sphincter pupillae muscle, and lens accommodation by ciliary muscle. The oculomotor nerve follows a well-defined path from the brainstem to the orbit. The nerve fibers exit the midbrain ventrally between the posterior cerebral artery and superior cerebellar artery and passes anteriorly into the interpeduncular fossa. Then it travels through the subarachnoid space lateral to the posterior communicating artery. This is clinically significant region because aneurysms of the posterior communicating artery can compress the nerve, leading to oculomotor palsy. The nerve enters the lateral wall of the cavernous sinus where it runs superior to 4th and 6th cranial nerves. Here it receives sympathetic fibers from the internal carotid plexus. The nerve enters the orbit via the superior orbital fissure, passing through the annulus of Zinn, a fibrous ring that encloses the optic nerve. In the orbit, it divides into two branches, a superior division that innervates the superior rectus and levator palpebrae superioris, whereas the inferior division innervates the medial rectus, inferior rectus, and inferior oblique and carries parasympathetic fibers to the ciliary ganglion. Now, functions of the oculomotor nerve. It has somatic motor functions like eye movements and eyelid elevation by innervating the following muscles. Superior rectus elevates the eyes to look upward. Inferior rectus depresses the eye to look downward. Medial rectus adducts the eye, that is, it moves the eyeball inward towards the nose. Inferior oblique elevates and extorts the eye, that is, moving the eyes upward and outward. Levator palpebrae superioris elevates the upper eyelid, preventing ptosis, which is drooping of the eyelid. Parasympathetic functions include pupillary constriction and lens accommodation. These functions involve sphincter pupillae muscle, which constricts the pupil, called miosis, in response to bright light. This is called pupillary light reflex, whereas the ciliary muscle controls the shape of the lens for near vision through accommodation reflex. The most common clinical implication of oculomotor nerve dysfunction is oculomotor nerve palsy. It may be caused by any of the following: posterior communicating artery aneurysm, most common cause of isolated third cranial nerve palsy; diabetes mellitus causing microvascular ischemia; trauma or brainstem lesions like stroke, tumors, infections; and increased intracranial pressure due to herniation of the uncus compressing third cranial nerve. Clinical signs of third nerve palsy include ptosis or drooping of the upper eyelid due to levator palpebrae superioris paralysis, down and out eye position because of unopposed lateral rectus and superior oblique due to loss of medial, superior, and inferior rectus functions, dilated pupil or mydriasis and loss of accommodation due to parasympathetic fiber damage, diplopia or double vision due to extraocular muscle dysfunction. So, the oculomotor nerve is essential for coordinated eye movement, eyelid function, and pupil constriction. Understanding its origin, course, and function is critical for diagnosing neurological conditions such as oculomotor palsy, aneurysms, strokes, and brain herniation syndromes. In the next part, we'll continue with the other cranial nerves. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Do like and share the video and subscribe the channel to learn more.